Welcome back to CHOWTIME Pods. Your host, Red. We got a video today from River TV.
I don't think it's talked about enough at how well men read women. Men can literally look at you and know so much about you.
Correct.
River TV.
Same thing that we can look at other men and see a good amount of them.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. So I actually saw this video on my own when I was scrolling through the wonderful world of TikTok, and I wanted to bring it to you guys. I literally only saw like a very small snippet of the beginning of the video, and I wanted to save the rest to watch it authentically with you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and press play, pause, play, then give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions on this entire situation.
You know, a lot of women get on this app and they, say certain things about men like they're dumb and things like that. And whether I agree or disagree, we're not here to talk about that. But what we will talk about is...
I disagree, but okay.
There's some dumb men. It's just that simp era of men that they're just kind of blinded to the red flags.
Is how men are very good at reading people. I don't think it's talked about enough at how well men read women. Okay, specifically, men can also judge other men very well. Even
Correct.
they don't speak up on other men as often as they will on women. Men can literally look at you and know so much about you. And I've learned this through studying them. I've read books. One of the books I'm reading right now is Psychology of Gender, Men and Women, and also through listening to their podcasts and the videos that they watch and just watch.
Shout outs to her. Shout outs to you, girl, for watching our podcasts.
Watching them online. They read women like a book.
We do.
You thought you knew your friends. I'm telling you, a man could come around and he will tell you, he's like your mom. You know how your mom would like, oh, that's not your friend. That's how men are. Men know what type of woman you are based off how you dressed, how you act around him and his homeboys, and even the way you act with your friends.
I want to stop right here for a second because she's preaching right now. Okay, she is. She's got it. She's got it in the bag right now. Now, starting off with how women have this idea like, oh, men are dumb, men don't know anything. Like, women literally walk around with that narrative.
They do.
I 100% disagree with that. And I always say that women who talk so negatively about men, like, and generalize all of them and say that they're all bad and they're trash and they're dumb and that they're this and all these things, I always say they clearly do not know men. They clearly do not. Like, just like how she's saying, 100%, a man can analyze a person and just assess them. And not because he's not speaking up a lot, not because he doesn't talk a lot, does not mean that he doesn't know you from A to Z. That's why when men speak on the nature of women, it's very different than when women speak on the nature of men, because women speak off of ideology, thoughts, what they think, and men are speaking off of logic, right? They're speaking off of, if 1 plus 1 equals 2, you act like this, you're doing this, this is the result that we're going to get in the end.
90% at least.
And majority of the time, they are spot on.
What you post, all of that stuff, they are watching. They are watching you. They are forming an opinion. And might I add that they're usually not wrong when it comes to judging women. They're usually...
I've always said this. I wish I was wrong. I hate being right all the time. Is it like nice to be right that I tell my friends, she about to screw you over, bruh, and then they screw him over? Am I happy about that? No, I don't want to be happy about that. I don't want to be right. I don't want to go to my best friend and be like, I told you so. You know what I want? I want them to come to me and tell me, Red, you were wrong. No, she was actually a good girl. She took care of me and then she did everything. I want that. I truly want that. I just haven't had that. And I haven't been wrong yet. And I'm sad about that.
You're not wrong, okay? And I personally have stopped being friends with women based off of how men treat them, okay? Stay with me, sister. Stay with me.
How
so I have a
treat
friend,
them.
and I've been knowing her since grade school. Cool person, right? But every time we would hang out and we talk about our dating life, she would always tell me about how men were asking her for money. Men were making her pay for the first date or go 50-50, or telling her I lost my wallet, or, some egregious story happened when it was time to pay the bill. or they were asking to like borrow her car or stay with her. It was just always something, and I would be like shocked. I'd be like, girl, what are you talking? Like, I would always be so intrigued because I've never had this experience. Like, I've never been told to pay for, or asked to pay for a date. I don't do any of that. But I would be intrigued. And then when I hit 25, it was something that developed up here, the frontal lobe. I was like, oh, the reason why they are asking her these things or treating her this way is because of low self-esteem. And then I started to see it. I started to see it in the way she walked and the way she carried herself in the decisions. I started to see it naturally, right? And then I had another friend, cut her off too. She, every time we went out, it was like men just naturally spoke very dirty to her.
Oh.
I'm talking about like they were just very, like, I'm not gonna say they're aggressive, but they were just very sexual with her.
I want to stop right here for a second because I do want to touch on what she's saying. You see, I always say this. I always say that they say that women are the reciprocators, right? Technically, in a relationship, both people are reciprocators, okay, if we want to be technical. But a lot of times, I always say that a man is going based off of how you present yourself. If you show, nice qualities, girlfriend qualities, he makes you a girlfriend. If you show wife qualities, he makes you a wife. If you show motherly qualities, he makes you a mother. Like, people think it's the opposite. They're like, oh, women are the multipliers, and in ways we are. But I really believe that it is based off of how the woman presents herself, and that is how that basically says what kind of man you're going to get out of the man. Right? Like, I don't believe that a man acts one way across the board with every woman that he deals with. I believe that based off of the woman that you are will say what kind of traits you're going to extract from a certain type of man.
True.
And so in her talking about her friend that had the low self-esteem, it's like, oh, that's why guys treat you like this. In the friend that she's talking about that she's overly, sexualized, is obviously based off of the way that she is either interacting, eye contact that she's making, something that she's doing, why she's getting certain outcomes that she's getting. And so it seems as though this woman is now understanding, like, oh, this all has to do with you. Instead of women have the mindset like, oh, it's because these guys are bad and these guys are trash. No, maybe the what you're getting out of the situation is a reflection of how you are presenting yourself.
Off the rip, didn't even know her. Now, mind you, she did used to tell me, about some things she used to do, whatever, blah, blah. That's her business. But, like, for men to even pick that up, I'm talking about on the first meeting, and they're, like, being very, with her, and they wouldn't do that to me or the other girl that we used to hang out with, our other friend. They would only do it to her. That's because they could pick up that spirit. I'm telling you, men can read low self-esteem, low self-worth. They can read if you want their attention. They can read it all.
Men are so good that they can read a woman, even if she's in a precarious situation, they will still be able to decipher if she's a good woman or not. That's how good they are. Now, off of face value, if you walk like a duck, quack like a duck, they're going to consider you a duck. But then they might be in situations where they're like, oh, you were surrounded by ducks and raised by ducks, but you're actually a swan.
Correct. We can see that.
You're actually a little bit different. This is a different type of breed. Hence why there will be, some women who, like I said, have been in, had a tumultuous past or whatever the case is, and they're still able to get into relationships or to build positive foundations in their future. And the reason why is because of the traits of who they are after a man has gotten to know them. Men are very good at seeing things for what they are. No fluff, no additives, seeing a woman in her truest nature.
Some of them are so good that they don't even have to have a conversation with you, sister. So what you post matters, what you wear, it matters. In how you move in the world, it matters. Even the conversation. I had a few videos back, I told y'all, watch what you say. Stop sharing everything. Be careful of what you say. Only say the minimum. I'm not saying you lie, but he don't need to know all of that. It's quite frankly, it's none of his business. But like, yeah, I picked that up on watching a lot of men podcasts and things like that. Like, as much as I would like to get on here and say that they be over exaggerating, no, they're very good at reading people. They are very good. Even when they read each other, even when they read another man, men know when other men are full of it.
Yep.
I mean, look at the situation going on right now with the guy who is a baby mama maker. Look at that situation. Look how the men are chiming in. They're very good. And I suggest to all the women out there who are actively dating and seeking relationships with men, and I suggest to the women who are actively dating and seeking relationship with men, I'm only
She just busted a Dr. Umar Thurman on that one. Said it twice.
talking to y'all. I suggest you get on and listen to some of these podcasts that they're listening to. Not the podcasts where they're pandering to women, but the podcasts where they're talking about women and they're talking about the women that they do and do not like. And I'm not asking you to subject yourself to what they do and not like, whatever. I'm asking you to listen to how they describe women, listen to their experiences, and that will tell you a lot about how they assess you. They are very attentive. Men are very
We have to be. That's our lives. If we're not attentive, we're not going to be successful men.
attentive. And it taught me something just in watching them. And I don't care about their opinions about, certain stuff, whatever. It's about the detail. It's about being able to read people very well just by how they walk and talk and how they answer questions, because nobody is different.
Nope.
I want to say this. Two things I disagree with. I disagree that you should not be open and honest when you are in the dating phase with somebody. Or no, here's the thing. If you're going on a first, second, third date as a woman with a man, I don't think that you need to spill all your guts on the table.
Correct.
I don't think you need to
I can
do all
agree
of
with
that.
that.
But I think that once it develops into something that you see a future with them, I think it is important so that they know what they're getting themselves into, the same way that you want them to be transparent and you know what you're getting yourself into. That's one. Two, I think that it is important to hear the consensus of what men do and don't like. I think that's important. And I think it should matter to you as a woman what men do and don't like. Because if you want to be in a relationship with men and men are telling you across the board that they don't like certain things, I think you need to keep that in mind. If you're dressing for the female gaze, or I don't care what men think, I care what my girls think. Like, you're only going to be appeasing women. You're not going to be appeasing the men that you say that you actually want to be in a relationship with.
Everything has already been written. People may think that they are real and different and they one of one or whatever, but patterns and everything have already been written, right? Patterns will help save us all in general. So
Correct.
recognizing that
We are pattern recognizing machines. That's what we are as humans. When we see certain things happen and then we see it happen again, we're like, oh, I remember this. And the outcome was not good. I'm gonna have to step away.
the patterns in people will tell you a lot about a person. And I highly suggest that you just stay like, I don't want to say vigilant, but you just stay proactive, right? You always paying attention. And this can translate into how you read men, right? You should be able to read men. There's no two men that are different, right? All of them are,
I disagree with this. I definitely disagree with this. There was a conversation that I had that, somebody was saying that they feel like there's only like maybe 5 or 6 different people in the world, as in traits, personality, stuff like that. And then like after a while, like, that's why you can work at one job and say, for instance, you go to another job and you can identify like, oh, that this person would technically be this person from the last job. Like their personality traits are extremely similar.
True.
And you go to a different job and the same kind of thing. But people are different. But if you know the basis of how to analyze people and listen to the things that they are saying as well as the things that they're not saying, body language, energy, and all those things, then you will have the ability to truthfully understand what it is that you're actually getting yourself into. And so, but I don't agree that all men are the exact same. That's just not true. They might have,
That is pretty weird to say.
similar traits, but they're not all the exact same. You can't paint men or women with one brush.
Cannot.
That just isn't realistic.
there's groups and things like that, but men are the same. Like, they all have their
I think it's the behaviors are always the same. Everybody's behavior is behavior. And when you do certain behaviors, It's just that pattern looks the same, but that person may be a different person, but they're just doing those behaviors because that's the pattern of that particular behavior.
Little groups, you can tell that when a man is a good guy, or you can tell when a man is, going to waste your time, or you could start to pick up on this as you start to, pay attention and analyze them. But I'm gonna have to give it to them. Men are very good at reading people. Go ask your homeboys, go ask your brothers, go ask your uncles, men that are going to keep it real with you and that won't sleep with you. Ask them about how they read women, and I'm telling you, they're so good at it. From broke to poor to rich to everybody, all of them, they're very good at reading women. That's how they can single some of you out to take advantage of, or to finesse and get things out of, because they can read you very well, like a book, actually.
Yeah, and that's why, like, even when it comes to like negotiations and stuff like that, like, men are really good. They know they know what angles, what things.
We know our own leverage
to say. Like, men are just good at logical things. They're really great at that. That's their strong suit. Where women are more emotional and sometimes less logical, that's their strong suit. They can see something. They're very they're like a database, right? Like, they can just analyze, group things together, figure things out, put the puzzle pieces together. Hence why, as a woman, if you understand that men are good at analyzing women, and men are very logical thinkers, and men are usually on point, now let's just play back all the things that men say about women currently.
Ooh.
Just think about that. Just think about all the different conversations, the podcast, whatever. Let's just think about the situation and the air that we're in right now currently. And now rewind the tape, and just think about the fact that men are great at analyzing people. Now you're going to start looking at your homegirls different.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to start looking at the women around you different. Now you're going to start looking at trends on TikTok or on social media very differently. Because once you see that, once your eyes are opened logically, it's very difficult for people to throw a facade at you. It's very difficult because you see them coming a mile away. 100%. I absolutely agree with what she said in this conversation. I 100% agree. Not with everything. I told you things I didn't agree with, but yeah. I agree that men are very good at reading women, reading people, and are very good at analyzing situations and people. Hence why I always say it is an asset to have a man in your life. It is an asset. Okay? It obviously, a good man, a strong leader, somebody who is cares about you and all those things. We can go into that, but it is an asset.
Agreed.
It is, because what you can see, from your femininity and from the feminine balance, and then having that masculine balance with you, it is like, it's a different ball game when the two meet. Very different. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments.
Hey, shout outs to Riva, and shout outs to that woman for understanding men and actually making a video trying to educate women. That's why I like featuring a lot of the women creators sometimes. Yeah, some might be chameleons, some be whatever it is, but at least if they're putting out the right message and trying to connect to other women, and at least trying to get these women to do better, that's all I can ask for, right? Like, as long as they're not doing the same things like Shira 7 and all these other women are doing, I feel like that's just hurting society more. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.